Okay, hey, how's that? Is stream coming up nicely right now? So what I did was, since it sounds like there's something weird going on the internet, I have chopped down my video. I told it to resize it down to 720. Is it still choppy now? It's still bad. Yeah, exactly. Yes. That's what I did, silly dev. I chopped it down. It's very not great. Really? Hang on. Let me pull it up on mine and see what it looks like. How bad is this? Uh, Let me see how choppy it is. Let me see. Ooh, that is really choppy. Whoa! Yeah, that is bad. Yeah, that is something. So I cut mine down to 720 just so that we can see what it does. Okay, so I won't worry about anything else. We'll leave it at 720 and see if it comes in okay. Um, okay, so I like that. I like that so far. Let's take a look at what they've got. Um, so where do we want to jump to? First off, let's try. Okay, so it's set to Windows already. So let's run the app and see what it is. Well, we're about to find out because I'm going to change the rest of the screen, and if that suddenly gets choppy, then that's it. Just focus on the code and not Brendan. Well, I could try cutting my video out. Here, let's switch me for the, Hang on, where's the... Alright, let's jump down to me. Because I can cut the video and switch for the coding dino. There we go. We'll put him in instead of me. There we go. See? Now the dinosaur is coding instead of me. Is that better? Okay. So here's what we got. This is the application. I'm going to drag it onto screen. It opened on another monitor. So this is what it ran. Yeah, non-Twitcher, sorry about the ads. Twitch runs them whether we want them or not, so I can't help you there. The best way to avoid ads on Twitch is to subscribe to a channel, and then they don't show you the intro ads. I also haven't configured mine yet to run periodic ads through the stream, because that also bugs me, but that does then mean that everybody that shows up the first time does have to have an ad, so I may cave and turn that on. Okay, so this is the application that it built for us. In theory, this thing should work on Windows, Apple, Mac devices, Android, iOS. So, hello, welcome. It says to click the button. Hey. Okay, so I don't know how well that's updating for all of you, but it does look like the application does work. Now, this probably has some kind of binding. We'll take a look in the XAML and see what it's doing, but that seems decent. Does it? Well, that's not the... Like, it's not like it's, rearranging as I slide it around, but it does seem to function. So there we go. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We're glad to have you here. Hopefully our connection will run better the next time we stream. And just for reference, I'm not going to be able to stream tomorrow or Wednesday, so stream after this will be on Thursday and Friday. So Xander, no. So what is really cool about the way that these works is that .NET MAUI should end up running just like a native application. It is cross-platform. It is not a web application. What they built for us is this is .NET. It's going to be running through the .NET, effectively the .NET Core runtime, though they call it .NET now. But it's going to be running through that runtime on these different devices. So it is actually cross-platform and should work the way that you want it to. So these are not web applications. What these do for the UI is they essentially put wrappers around the existing native UI libraries on each platform. So on iOS and Android, it is using their UI, not some custom web app UI. It's the real UI. And the same thing with Windows. It's using one of the WinUI libraries. And so these wrappers, they just were essentially trying to make it so that by wrapping around those, you call them in a fairly consistent .NET way, and that all of your business logic code, everything like that, all the bindings. So they're they're designing for an MVVM approach, though you can use a different one if you want. And that's sort of the direction they were taking with this. Now, we're digging into this together and taking a look at what they ended up giving us. So I have done a lot of stuff with WPF in the past, with UWP, and I, back when it existed, messed with Silverlight. And yes, despite the fact that Silverlight went away pretty quickly, what it brought to the table was actually pretty cool. There is a reason that, though I didn't use it for these purposes, there is a reason that early Netflix, for example, ran Silverlight. And not Flash, because it supported some things that the competitor did not. But now that HTML can support the same behaviors, they don't really need Silverlight, and thus why have a third-party download? And so it died pretty quickly, mainly because HTML picked up so much. Okay, so looking at here, this looks like the button we were clicking. So I can look through our XAML. You can see there's a content page, some kind of scrolling thing. It looks like they're using a vertical stack layout for the scroll view. So I think if we were running that app, which I closed, but I can open it again, I'm betting if we shrink that window that we'll get a scroll bar based on it saying scroll view. But let's try it. Do we get a scroll bar? We do get a scroll bar. So see, so we're inside of a scroll view, we get a scroll bar, and I can click that. I just wanted to confirm that that's definitely what it was. So it looks like stacks the item in a scroll viewer, and we get some spacing, some padding, an image, label, and here's our button. So our button has a name, and it has an action clicked method that's on counter clicked that we should be able to go take a look at back here. So looks like it stores the count. Oh, they use tabs. Good job. See? We can tell what it is. On counter clicked is the method we're using. It's a standard event structure inside of here. They say if it's one. Okay, so they handled the singular and the plural case. So we've got the once for one time and multiple for multiple times. That's so important that you get that right. Yes, Zender. So it should also look a lot like the WPF controls. However, this one, their example, I'm a little disappointed they didn't wire it up in some kind of MVVM way. So that's why it looks like early .NET Framework UI controls. So what you're seeing is this looks like WinForms, whereas this is actually built more like WPF. So you can take a different approach. And yes, yes. Londo, you are 100% correct there. It will look like Xamarin Forms, and part of the reason is this is intended to be this is basically the Xamarin killer. When this comes out from Microsoft, I don't know what Microsoft's messaging is on this, but I take the existence of MAUI to mean Xamarin is going away because there is a newer approach on the block, I think is really what it's coming down to. So this is not how you want to build it. So wiring in with, a clicked event like this is not the approach that we want to take. We're going to want to do it with, yes, exactly. MAUI is the evolution of Xamarin. Correct. Yeah. Thank you, Fishing Dev. And so that's why Xamarin would be going away. Yeah. So I now, I may be wrong, Londo, but you're right that I think it is a reworked version, but I think it's working more from the style of and not like bringing the code over. I don't think they ported the code. I could be wrong, but I don't think they did. I think they essentially recreated the same concept, and didn't start from that, because I didn't think it used the same Xamarin. Yeah, exactly. Yes, thank you, Fishing Dev. I was going to say, I think they rewrote from the ground up for MAUI. So it's not It's not really just like, yeah, they took Xamarin and, you know, ported it to .NET Core and, you know, said, hey, yeah, we're doing this new one. I think they started from scratch, but tried to build using the same design. So it's like built the same kind of thing. So it really is intended to be the replacement for. Okay, so let's jump over and see what they tell us to do over here in the docs. So we ran it. They want us running in developer mode, which I triggered on because I knew we were going to run into that. So that's what lets us run this. So that is one of the things that concerns me a little bit about running MAUI applications. So as a developer, obviously, in order to side load applications, you do need to run as a developer. The big challenge and the warning for anybody that is thinking MAUI can be your new Windows development thing, it can be, but keep in mind that these applications you are building in MAUI are not executables. They're, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they build like MSIX files or something like that as the ending result, which end up being the Windows apps, not like a program that you would have in Windows. And so what you end up with is a program that, yes, it runs on Windows, but it runs as an app, not as like a standard program. So do keep that in mind. That's why we have to turn on the developer mode, is because we're effectively sideloading an app. So that same concept applies if you're sideloading into you know, iOS, Android, those platforms as well, instead of like downloading through the store. So again, it's developer mode there as well. You're curious if this has visual view where you can drag and drop controls similar to... Oh, so funny enough, Zender, I don't know if it works exactly like that, but I haven't tried it, but I've heard the previewing is fantastic. And I'm fairly certain, since you could in WPF, that dragging and dropping a control on... So you can drag and drop controls into the editor, but... but the preview is supposed to be fantastic. Yeah, yes. See, so what Fishing Dev is mentioning, the preview mode that you get in this is supposed to be really good. I haven't messed with it yet. So let's jump over to this. So we did the first one, yay, and we're sort of taking a look as we go. Okay, so I think maybe this tutorial is going to talk about the different UIs. So the iOS, Android, Windows, etc. So they want us to build some Notes app, but I'm not going to start with that. I'm not going to rename it. So this says, I don't know if I have an Android emulator on here. Let me see, did they give us one? Like out of the gate? Or do I need to go grab one? I recently deleted all of my various emulators and SDKs because I'm not doing a lot of mobile development right now. So I was like, let me just get rid of the Android SDK and everything, because that's just taking up space. So XAML Live Preview is really nice. The hot reload, which takes in more C# changes, is still slightly lukewarm. Yeah, so exactly, Fishing Dev. I keep hearing really good things about how well it both does the live preview in Visual Studio, yeah. All right. The Android SDK licenses must be accepted. Yeah. Can I do that from here? Yeah, I totally read through those. Hey, Fuel Snable, welcome. It still doesn't... you're just here for friend. Yeah. Hey, non-Twitcher, that's totally fine. If you are here just for my stream, I am happy about it. Again, that's the reason why this is called Dev Chatter. We're not here to sit in silence. We are here to chat and talk about all things code. And not all of them are things that everyone is going to be interested in. I know a lot of people... that did like sticking around for the... Whoops. You lose Visual Studio there as it opens up the thing. Android Device Manager. Cool. Excuse me. Okay, so what I was saying is, a lot of the reason we are here is to chat about things tech, and so I've done a lot of episodes where we worked on Interactive 7, for example, which is a program for interacting with a video game. And if that's not a video game you play, that shouldn't matter. We're still having fun chatting about code, seeing cool stuff. I think everybody probably had a good laugh when we ran into the problem that I had 2 bytes for some data, and I was thinking like the first byte was for the ID of the item and the second byte was for the quantity, and it turns out I was wrong. It turns out that the first 9 bits were for the item ID, and the remaining 7 bits were for the quantity. And my brain melted apart, because when we figured that out, we were like, why isn't this working? What is going wrong? And we were like, what? So there's fun stuff that comes up that isn't always related to what tech and what thing we're working on, and that's always fun. Can you build and push to an iOS device without going via a Mac for testing? So Londo, I am like 90% certain that you have to have the Apple device to be able to do that in a non-emulated version. So I think you have to have an Apple device, which is the major bummer. I hate that it is that way. I dislike that they can get away with that. Because that does feel like like that feels to me like abusing a monopoly. And I get that they don't technically have one, but when you have 2 choices in the market, because effectively your choices are just iOS and Android, it feels kind of shady that in order to deploy onto their phone, you have to also own their, both hardware and, effectively keep in mind that you're also licensing the OS. So it's like, okay, so I have to like be, purchasing effectively multiple others of your products in order to be able to use that one at all. Just seems a little shady to me. But, who am I to decide what they get away with? Yeah, so it's been a little while since I've run Mac computers. I do sometimes. They're good. All right, so recommended. So they're going to create me a new device. So looks like the Android device manager. I just clicked the button here. I don't know why it's getting me this, but it looks like it's going to download an emulator for a Pixel 5. So we'll see how this goes. So we're just checking out the experience, seeing what it's like, because I haven't messed with this yet, so hopefully, yeah, I know. So the funny thing is I like Apple products, I just don't like some of that, like, exclusivity, where it's like, you can't get away with anything else. Hey, Fuel Snable, am I really that, I guess I'm pretty old. I'm not a young developer anymore. I started programming in the 90s, so I am an old developer. I'm not sure how many people are actually trying Maui yet, so I'm giving it a test today. We're gonna mess around with it a little bit. I don't know how far we're gonna get with it, but I figured why not have a look, see what it can do, and hopefully that'll download and get going. Oh, hey, it just started. There we go. I don't know what it was doing a minute ago. I thought it was downloading and not giving us progress. Turns out it was just downloading. Yeah, so that's the thing, Fuel Snable. We don't have to be using it. I don't have like a project that I'm planning on using Maui for like right now, but I want to dive in, take a look, see what they built. I think a lot of people are looking at this. I have a friend that today inherited an application from his company that was written in Java, and he basically said the code's so bad I just want to go rewrite this in Maui right now. And I was just kind of funny. It's like, yeah. It's like, okay, let's take a look. Let's see what they've got. And yeah, I think a lot of people are in the boat that Fishing Dev is in, where a lot of companies are considering, like, hey, we're maintaining these mobile apps. Like, do we want to try Maui? Because if they made this experience good, this really can be the answer to how do we build the mobile app both for Android and iOS. Because I know that there are still tons of complaints about doing basically any of the various ways of using a web application as a mobile application. And so it's nice to get that native experience. Right, I was gonna have a look at this. Okay. How far along are you? 72%. We are almost ready to try this emulator. Alright, you would love to see how Maui plays with F sharp, and if Fabulous is going to get a Maui backend at some point. Oh, so short answer, Londo, it should have no problem with using F sharp, especially in your, in any of the logic that you're writing. And the reason for that is that it is just running .NET Core, so, sorry, .NET. So there should be no problem with using any of the .NET languages in this. So you should not be required to use C#. I do most of the stuff on stream in C#, obviously, but, you know, not a requirement. Okay. Android, let's go. So when this compiles to produce different exes. Okay, so yeah, so Zender, you are sort of right. So I don't think it makes actual executable files, but yes, what it creates is so what this should make is code that runs. So it should compile down to IL. That gets, effectively is inside of the file. I don't know the exact structure they used for it. I know in the past they've packaged a lot of things up in like basically in zip files. Yeah, I still call it .NET Core all the time too because it is .NET Core. And so effectively what we end up with is not quite compiled for Windows, Linux, Android, and Mac. So when I build a DLL in .NET Core, that DLL can run in Windows or Linux just fine. It's cross-platform. And the reason why is that there is a runtime on both Windows and Linux. It's the .NET runtime that is what does it. Now, if I wanted to build an executable that has the runtime built in .NET Core, then it does include the correct runtime for that environment, which means that I build a Windows version and a Linux version. So I make two versions of that if I'm, essentially building for Windows and Linux. Now, I think the same thing is going to happen here, in that you're going to have the runtime for these. And since I don't think that you can trust that any system is going to have that, my assumption is that when you build for these, that your application is going to come with the runtime built in. So that means you are going to compile, if you're doing Windows, Linux, Android, and Mac, you're going to compile 4 separate versions all from the same code. And I believe what they did was, so if we take a quick look at the Xamarin, I don't know this, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, here, so platforms. I think you put the platform differences inside of these, and they get included when it separates them. Okay, yeah, so iOS requires no jitting. That is a good thing to know there, Fuel Snable. Okay, so they're not using the runtime on iOS. So what that means is that they'll build you a version. So this is kind of what I was talking about. It's going to probably include the runtime in it, and it's going to be compiled all the way down to ARM. Sorry, so Lando said, especially as I work in VSTO on my day job, so you have to use .NET. Yes, there are a lot of people that are still stuck in the .NET framework world and have not been able to make the switch over to .NET Core. And, yes. Okay, see, thank you, Londo. Yep, so you're going to get separate compiled versions of these that are all the way down to the native versions for each one of these platforms. They're not going to leave you with... you're not really going to get DLLs, and it's not really going to be executables, because Android, for example, I'm sure ends up being an APK file and all that sort of stuff. So let's jump in a little bit further, Because I think we got our emulator here. So can I just run this now, or do I have to start it first? We're gonna find out. What do I have to do? Come on, Visual Studio. What you got for me? Hey, hey, there we go. That looks like an emulator. So part of the reason I'm trying this is just see, like, how hard is it to get this running? Like, what does the initial experience for someone that has not been messing with this look like? I am not set up for this, so we're going to actually see it. Okay, starting up. I think if I'd clicked start, it would have booted the emulator first, and then I could have hit this. But hitting the button started the emulator. So far, you know, clicking that button, I wasn't left having to go to the documentation. I just clicked through the things that it told me on screen to do. So, hey, I call that a win. Come on, Google. And out of curiosity, how has the stream quality ended up? Did it clear up at all? Okay. Looks like the emulator's up and bouncing around, and I see that it noticed and is starting to build something. Yeah, sadly I'm stuck on Spectrum, and they're not always nice. Who knows, maybe one of these days we'll all switch to satellite-based internet again. Looks and sound... Okay, thanks. Glad to hear things are coming in okay. Come on, emulator, you can do it. This is way longer than I expected, but I was not prepped with an emulator, so... Alright, it says it found the emulator. Also, I love how it's like, add to source control. I'm like, I don't want to add this to source control. This is the scratch file that I'm messing with. This thing is going to be garbage. We don't want to toss this anywhere. This is our sandbox. We're playing around here. Oh, wait, it's doing something. Hey, here it goes. I think it might be working. This might be our code here. Because it looks like it's showing a little download icon at the top. Alright, fake Pixel 5, what do you got for us? Oh, look. That looks like is that a shield? What do we got there? Is it worried about what we're putting on here? It's like, that's a virus. I saw it. It incremented a button number. Hey, look at that. Clicking the button. What a great program. That worked perfectly. Yes, so Zender, yes, 100% you can get different emulators. A lot of people will do lots of testing on emulators. There are still companies out there that, you know, get piles of mobile devices to be able to do the actual test, not on the emulators, but most of the time devs will test on emulators for these things. I have done a small amount of Android and iOS dev in the past. And the emulators and your I guess the sub question in there is yes, they usually are phone specific, so you really are trying to emulate each individual phone to get what that one is like, because at some companies, well, this isn't a great practice, confirm their apps work on the common devices. And so occasionally you get some problems if you're not on the, Pixel, Galaxy, etc. Like whatever the popular phones are at the time, you might be out of luck because they may not have tested. Okay, now here's the question. If I were to change this code, does it just update, or do I need to do something? Let's add an exclamation point and see what happens. Does it get it? What if I build? No, yeah, it wants to stop debugging. No, it's not gonna let me get away with it. How do I get to the preview? I know we said there's some way of previewing these. They've been told it's good. Live preview? A selected element? I don't know what my selected element is. Well, I'll have a look in a little bit. But yeah, it looks like this comes up and works. So let's get out of there. And now for debugging, am I supposed to just stop? We'll find out. I don't know. There we go. What if... So that was that one. Let's go here and Windows machine again. Can I get the... Ooh, hot reload. That's what I want. Yeah, that's fire. Yes. The one with fire. That's the one we want, I think. Hot reload on file save. Yeah, perfect. Do I not just click this button? It seems like a button to me. So I'm gonna see what happens. See if we can get our hot reload. Maybe it didn't work too well in the emulator. So here, this should be the... so we've got our exclamation point. But what if I remove it now? Does it go away when I modify that? Wait, XAML hot reload stopped. What? Maybe it only works for the XAML. Hang on, maybe it only works with XAML. Let's find out. Maybe I can't change the C# file. Maybe that's what Fishing Dev was talking about. Why would I want to continue if there were errors? Why? Seriously, Visual Studio has always asked that. Why would I want to continue? If there were errors in the build, I guess maybe I really want it to run so I don't care what the error was, but that just seems bizarre to me. Like, if I had an error, maybe I need to fix that. Like, seriously, if any of you hit the button, like, yeah, I know there were errors, but go ahead and run the code anyway. Yeah, yes, that could be true. It could be live demo when you'd run into that. Also, the Dr. Blue, welcome, buddy! I didn't know you were going to show up today. Glad you're here, though. Did this not load? This didn't load. Hey! Yeah. I'm not sure what it's doing. So, let's try building and running it again. Nope, still errors. What's the error? Access to that path is denied. Alright, you know what? I didn't want to close the emulator, but I'm going to close the emulator. We're going to try it one more time. You really don't want to let go of that, huh? Alright, well, I think we all know what that means. It's time to go over into the Process Explorer and find what's not letting go of this thing and kill it. Time to kill it. Something. Hayden, welcome. Greetings. So I can give you the quick, in a nutshell version. So we're taking our first look at it today, and I gave this intro at the beginning as well, but I'm perfectly happy to give it again. essentially .NET MAUI, because .NET Core is now cross-platform. It's the cross-platform version of .NET, we should say, and now they just call it .NET because it got that rename. Uh, Essentially now for years we have had the ability to run applications on not just Windows, whereas .NET originally, when .NET Framework was really a Windows only, despite the fact that there was mono, so you technically could put some stuff in other places, but now there's first-party support for libraries that allowed .NET to run on Android, iOS, Apple computers, and on Windows and Linux. And so because of that, what they did was they ended up creating MAUI, which is essentially a wrapper around. It is both a framework for building applications, and it has a wrapper around the UI libraries for Android, iOS, Mac, and Windows. So essentially, it lets you use their native UI on each of those platforms from a .NET and C# application. So if you have or want to use anything that is C#, .NET, F#, whatever, DLL, package, whatever you've got, any existing code, you, in theory, can take that, use that in this application, build your C#, have adjustments for the UI depending on which platform you want to put it on, and release an application that runs with native UI components on iOS, Android, Apple, and Windows. And so that's the point. So if it works nicely for you, that should be what you want. I need to kill the stupid process that won't let this thing go. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try this. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, for anyone that wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, I ran my new stream intro screen. So, I'm super proud of this. I built it myself from scratch in Adobe After Effects. And I am a beginner and not a designer, so feel free to be critical and make fun of it. But I am also an old nerd. So that thing we were just looking at, that repeats there, that is the new loading screen for for Dev Chatter. I was like, you know what? I want to do the Windows XP loading screen. So I did the Windows XP loading screen and just tossed in Dev Chatter logos. And I was like, there you go. Built my own from scratch. And I've got that little progress bar is not a progress bar. I was like, yeah, I can make something that looks kind of like that. So that's just like a rounded corner rectangle with three little rectangles that like slide along and disappear as they get in and out. And it's like, yeah, totally works. So it's just this little 3-second video loop. Yeah, exactly. It's the old Windows XP loading. Because, we're nerds. So why not? I like that. I've got nostalgia for Windows XP. I won't deny it. I remember when I first got Windows 95. It was fantastic. It was neat. I remember getting, when Windows, like, I don't remember, 3, 3.1, something like that. I remember early Windows. That was great. I remember booting to DOS. We've had some fun stuff over the years. Okay, so I'm supposed to have hot reloading. So let's see what happens with this. So we're going to put that on that side, this on this side, and then let's see what it does. I don't need your diagnostics. Get out of here. I don't want to change the CS because that seemed to break the hot reloading. So we come over here. This says hello world. We're not going to say hello world anymore. We're going to say hello dev chatter. Hot reloading working? Yeah, hot reloading's working. All right, so welcome to .NET Multi-Platform UI. Yeah, so the name is Multi-Platform App UI, so MAUI. Yeah, I know. .NET Multi-Platform App UI is kind of long. MAUI's a little short, so I approve of the thing. It's just funny, because what does it mean? Yeah, you'll never remember. You'll never remember. Okay, you'll probably remember. Who am I kidding? That's not that complicated. Don't click this. It will hurt you. Okay, now no one will click that. Guaranteed, not a single person. No one. Okay, so here's the question. I want to... Well, I was just thinking, I want to see how we adjust the UI. So what do we got? It says Maui program says this is the code that bootstraps your app. And then app shell is the thing, main page, add an about page. Okay, yeah, I'm cool with that. Let's add an about page. I wonder if we can do that with a... What if we can do that in a hot reload? Come on. There we go. Does it have any suggestions? Net Maui. Hey, Net Maui section. Good. Content page C#. XAML? Wait. What? 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 I'm confused. How do you have a content page in C#? What? What? I'm so confused. Hang on. I'm gonna create the about page, but then I'm gonna go back and click that, because I want to know what's going on. Grumpy Game Dev, greetings, welcome. Thank you for showing up to the stream. I'm really glad to see people that are old viewers making it back, despite my long hiatus from streaming. So love to have you here. Ooh, boom! I love this message. Thank you. It says hot reload can't automatically apply or changes. The app needs to be rebuilt. I was wondering if it would. It looks like it does not. Always rebuild when updates can't be applied. That is... I'm tempted to click that, but I'm not going to yet. I'm not quite that brave. Yes. And greetings, welcome. I'm really glad to have you here, everyone. Yes, the fun begins. It has blocked that. Let's click this button, because I don't want to go on. I need to know what a C# page is. I need to see this. What is yeah. It's reloading on me. C# page? What does it do? Oh my whoa! Oh no! Oh no! No! No. Oh, that's crazy. That's totally valid. Wow. That's great. Look at what it did. It's creating the elements. That is awesome. I didn't want it to do... Like, it did it. I was afraid it was going to do that. It really does. Whoa. So instead of creating them in XAML, it's just coding them in there. So I don't know if you know this, but this is how all the old forms stuff worked anyway. Is all you were doing in the forms was your design view essentially was just setting up the pieces that it was then going to create a C# file that created all this stuff anyway. So if you ever looked at your, like, you know, you had like your my page whatever file, and it would have like a mypage.design.cs file associated with it, and it just looked like this, creating all the elements. So it looks like if you choose C#, it just does this. And while this isn't, you know, wrong or invalid, and you can totally do this, and if you really were going to create something out of a loop, it's not technically wrong to do this. Like, you could define your UI in C# if you want. There's no reason you can't. Like, you know, it'd come down to personal preference. But wow, the fact that this showed up first on the list for a C# page and not the XAML, and that because it was alphabetical was there as the first choice, I worry that some person is going to pick this and say, like, yeah, I write in C# and do this and think this is the way to make pages, which it can do it, but whew, yikes. Let's hope people don't click that. Yeah, see, Fuel Stable, you kind of like it. It's not bad. That's why I said there's nothing wrong with it, but it's preference. And the problem is, if someone goes down this route without realizing that this is the non-standard path, they are going to struggle to find help on the internet, because this is not how everyone else is going to be building this. You can, maybe it's the web dev bias in me, but I kind of like the XML style format for UI. Yeah, so Xander, so Xander, the nice thing on the XML style is that is XAML, which has been getting revved repeatedly. Now that's a good thing and a bad thing. So that does not mean that this is the XAML of early WPF and Silverlight or UWP. I'm not sure exactly what flavor of XAML this is, but that's part of the problem. Is there are definitely flavors of XAML. That XAML is not always the same, and hopefully they've got a pretty good spot here. Hey, nice, Surly Dev. You got a you got a clip of the starting screen. Thank you. Everybody. Okay, so that's yee. Okay, surprising, but hey, you know, it works. I'm not gonna fault them. I like that it's there. I just want people to be careful about that because I don't want someone to pick that did not mean to pick a C# page. Okay, hang on, my phone is buzzing like crazy. Let me just make sure it's not like, you know, something with, you know, wife or kids or something going on that I need to worry about. Oh no, that's what it is. Okay. I had my kid's birthday was over the weekend, one of them, and what that does mean is that the no, that I'm getting text messages like my sister-in-law is sending pictures of all the cousins, you know, because birthday parties. Anyway, stuff happens. Can you please give a shout out to the Grumpy Game Dev, the best VB.net console game developer on Twitch? If I have an SO, yeah. The Grumpy Game Dev, yeah. I don't know if I've got an SO right now. Nope, I sure don't. So no, you don't get one. See? Nope, nothing. No shout out for you because my bot doesn't do that apparently. No, I've got the bot turned off, so you won't get those. One of these days, we're going to work on the bot again. And part of that's going to be getting it running. It's also the worst and the median. Yes, exactly. Alright, so we get this, yep. Replace the markup with the following markup. What? You just want me to copy pasta this? Come on. What is this? You want me copy pasting the markup? Yeah, rebuild. Okay, so what do they want us to put in here? They want us to put in notes about page because they think our application's called Notes, where ours is not called Notes. Ours is Maui App 1. So Maui App 1 .about page. And then .NET bot ping, yeah, the .NET bot waving hello. Okay, cool. This is not written in .NET. Okay. They really like these clicked buttons, don't they? So save that. Yep, I got that. I know it. Okay, so I already know what these are because I've used plenty of other XAMLs, but looks like they put a horizontal stack, so these should be, you know, basically stacked horizontally, and then this and these should be stacked vertically. So, you know, we're making a bit of a layout with these. They've got various different layout controls inside of XAML. They're not the same as you'd get in HTML, but they're kind of similar. Thank you for clipping that. Shout out to the Grumpy Game Dev there, Surly. All right. Handle the clicked event. Okay. They want us to do this again, which I'm not a big fan of. They keep wanting us to use these events, and I want them to be teaching people NVVM. And I don't get why they're not. This is WinForms style that they're showing us here. And that's not what we should be pushing out the gate. If we want to help people, we should at least have said, you know, from the onset in the tutorial, hey, I want to learn this, or hey, I want to learn that. So this should be MVVM commands as I'm walking through this. That should have been like an upfront decision, and I should have been on the commands version of this. Like just a, hey, do you want to learn the MVVM way, or do you want to learn just the, you know, basic, you know, event style? So go to definition for the learn, click right here. Okay. Now, once I look at that, they want me to call this. Okay. What's it want me to do? Await launcher default open async mount. Oh, okay. I think I need a do I need a using? Is that what it's complaining about? Oh, make the method async. Yeah, I do need to make the method async. I was like, what's it complaining about? And actually looking at this, replace it with this. Yeah, this is like, yeah, okay, I could. I kind of wish they would tell. Oh, okay. Yeah, notice the async keyword was that. I was like, I kind of feel like we should be telling them which changes to make, not just like, here, copy paste this. Because, like, I know what's going on, but I feel like someone. So here's my problem. Let me explain as I go through this what my challenge is right now. Is I have not told the docs whether or not I know anything about .NET, C#, Windows Dev, whether I've used .NET Framework, and it is guiding me through, you know, just in a copy-paste sort of way. And I kind of feel like we need to be telling people the individual steps and why they're doing these. We need to make sure that happens, because if you don't have the background in having done WPF, you know, etc., I think some of this could still feel a little bit weird. So, yeah, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, fuel stable. So I said MVVM. It doesn't have to be MVVM. There are a variety of frameworks that use, you know, models and views, and whether you're using that or MVP or even MVC. I don't really recommend MVC on client side applications like this, like the native applications, but it's been used before, especially even for mobile development. But and yes, and yes, your thing about struggling with. So I almost that you're mentioning there, and I hope I pronounce your name wrong. If I ever butcher anybody's name, just tell me, and I'll try to say it better next time. Yes, I think a lot of people still struggle with MVVM, and part of the reason why I think they struggle is that the platforms where Microsoft recommends using MVVM, they're not stepping in and pushing MVVM enough in the initial docs. So because the documentation does not immediately take an MVVM approach, people don't dive into it enough, and that doesn't solidify it. You're saying you're surly, but why not call you Surly, Dev? Because I wouldn't want to get you mixed up with anybody else named Surly. We have a lot of people named Surly in here. Okay, you still. I thought 1,000 minus 5, 995 was weird. Not familiar with the MVVM approach. Event style is my default. Yes. So Zender, that's exactly it. So many of us have gotten used to the event style because that's what we're familiar with, and you can do that. So some of the advantage of using MVVM is, and the other similar ones, is that you're essentially trying to keep the view from knowing about the logic that goes on. And so the basic events kind of work sometimes. So what we try to do is with MVVM, we try to have the view be bound to a view model. And so what that means is, as values change on the view model, the view changes. To some extent, what is even clickable it should be up to the view model, not the view. So the idea is, if you want to make it so that after you've clicked the button on this 20 times, you're not allowed to click anymore, we would put the logic into the view model that once the number of clicks is beyond a certain point, that we set some trigger that it's not allowed to be viewed. And that could either be setting a Boolean value on the view model, or it could be a calculated property of the view model. And then on the front, on the UI, it's just bound to that calculated property or field or Boolean field for whether or not it is allowed to be clicked. And so it effectively would disable the button when that happens. Now, alternately, what you could do is have the button on the UI be able to still be clicked, but the behavior in the backend inside the command changes when you do that. Now you say, but why not? Why separate it? Why does it need to be in there? And the reason is that you could change the UI. So the UI could be, you could have two different front ends, right? You could have a different front end for, Android and iOS and Windows, and they don't have to be the same, but the view model could be the same. There's also the advantage that if you want to write a unit test on the view model, you don't need a front end to be able to test it. Now you can still automate the UI of an application and click through it and do that, but it's much faster in a test to just spin up the code, say the code for the view model, and confirm that after the number of clicks count has exceeded a certain number, that we've disabled that property. And so then you can effectively test your application without having to spin up the application. So those are some of the reasons why. Because that's your Sunday name. Oh, okay. Is Maui really geared up for MVVM? XAML Forms really felt it was so close yet so far. So I don't know, Londo, because I haven't tried it yet. So that's part of why we're here. The view and view model are bound, and you just poke the view model to set state, and the view model tells you view how to render. Exactly. Yes, that's correct. Yep. So you bind the view and the view model together, and then anything you do to the view model should affect the view. But the view is not really supposed to know about the view model. That's the idea. The view model is essentially the data and logic that drives the view. Yep, precisely. And then your view is pretty much just a front end for that. So there's no logic in your view. Yep. Great explanation. Hopefully that clears that up for people. But anyway, so my challenge with this docs is I kind of wish they asked me up front which approach I wanted, because they're teaching the one, and then it's no wonder you get a community that hasn't tried MVVM because the docs didn't tell them to. They didn't say, like, hey, there's this approach that if you want to try, you can. But they have, been internally pushing it the whole time. But if the docs don't show it, people aren't going to try it. I said this before, back when Microsoft used to tell us at like the MVP Summit and stuff like that, they would always tell the room full of the ASP.NET in ASP.NET insiders and MVPs, and they would always come out to us and say, but our data shows that a lot of people are still building the websites and the web forms and not on MVC, and we really think it's the community of the experts that are the ones that are pushing for MVC. And I sit there and I'm like, you know why people are building websites? ASP.NET team? It's because in Visual Studio, when I click File New, it presents me with two options, Website and Project. I don't think it does anymore, but it did at the time. It used to say File New, and so now it says Project. But website used to be a top-level category, and website was a web forms site. And so in order to build an MVC project, you had to go in and say File New Project, Web Project, and not website. And so I think many users were clicking website and just building web forms because that's what was the default presented to them in the easiest path. And it's like, well, yeah, of course they did. That was what was easy. So, hey, Wheatlaw, welcome. Greetings. Long time no see. Okay. So I'll hop off my soapbox for just a minute. So they want me to put some images in here to be able to display. Did they give those to me somewhere? Add existing. Where are these images? Are these images somewhere? You're saying they're in here? But I'd have to download them. So where do I download these? Is it these? Download these. Okay. What? Are you kidding me? These aren't download links. Did you see that? Chat, did you see that? Look, when I click these, they don't download. It just opens them. They didn't make those download links. I'm gonna flip the table. What is this? Microsoft, come on. Come on. Why didn't these download? Certainly a different picture. Yeah. Hang on. Hang on. Let me see if I can find out. You've done PRs on MS Docs. Yes, yes, I know, right? So Surly, look, I said your name's Surly. You're correct. I don't know where the docs are for these, but you're right. Ah, see, here they are. Not that we need to send these in right now, but hang on. Oh, what was your name? Hang on. It was. I mean, I knew who you were because of your picture, but I can't. And yes, you've had a sword here forever. I'm just trying to remember what your old name was. Um, does it say if I go back far enough? Yeah, Londo, I don't remember what your old name was. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna send in the doc adjustment right now. Um, please don't say the old name. Oh, okay. Well, either way. Hey, you're the one that alluded to it, but thank you for letting me know. I will not mention it then. But yeah, you alluded to having a previous name. So okay. I can't remember what your old name was on Twitch. I'll admit. I mean, I have different names too. I am also Brendonius here on Twitch. Okay, so they want me to add these. They want me to modify the shell. They want me to put in these. They want me to put in an image. I'm not gonna put in an image, guys. No, it's not gonna happen. Let's run the app. You know what? Here, let's run the app. No, not the Android app. Let's run the Windows app. I don't need images. This is pointless. We don't need images. I can figure out how to put an image in the app. Wait, learn more clicked? What? Maui about page? What? Hang on, what? That's there. Maui about page. Oh, it put the word async in the name. I bet it automated that. When I told Visual Studio to do that, I bet it automated that. Why is this not here? What are you smoking? Async task. Oh, you know what I just noticed is going to be terrible? As I'm looking at this, this is going to be bad. Because my Visual Studio is set to use spaces, and there are tabs in there. Go to definition. Okay. Hang on. Where do you have this code? You wanted me to do this. Open async on a thingy. Open async. Oh no! Is that what it is? Hang on. Was it async void? Oh, it was async void! No wonder it wouldn't find it. Why is it void? Oh no! No. Does it really have to void them? Are you telling me that the signature created by XAML mandates that it's void and won't accept task as a valid implementation of that method? Oh, yes. That's just funny. That is gonna, like... Yeah, it can be, Londa. The funny thing is, I'm just sitting here waiting for everybody's warnings to be triggering. Yeah. But what I was sitting here thinking is, like, I wonder how many tools complain about this. Because the funny part is, I let Visual Studio automatically fix that, and it changed it to an async task and added async to the end there. So Visual Studio is what messed up my signature. So that was a little bit weird. Yeah, you are correct. It is still using the old event system. So yeah, that would do it. It's just funny because I had not expected Visual Studio to be what got in the way and did it. And so I was like, yeah, it just flipped everything. I like how it even. Okay, so we got this. How do I get to the other page? Did I skip a step where it said add navigation? Docs. I'm not reading you that carefully. Can you help me out? Yeah, I added the new item. Then what? I put this on here. You explained the stuff. You said clicky button. I put in the clicky button. I saved it. Yeah, get it displayed in the app. Okay, images. Move the images in. I'm not doing the images. Modify the shell. Here we go. Alright. App shell XAML. I need to change the namespace. Maui app 1 app shell. So what do they have us do? They change this to this, and so we got shell content tab bar. Okay, so we've got a tab bar across the top with this, I'm guessing. And my assumption here with the tab bar is that it'll customize the top or bottom depending on what platform I'm on. No, you're right, Wheatlaw. The tutorial was correct. But I let Visual Studio try to jump in and it didn't help me. Oh, Maui app 1. The build now. Still failing. Why are you failing? Maui app 1, Maui app 1. Data template about. Oh, title is not notes on that. That's, we'll call it index. Go, what's it called? Main page? Does it even have a name? So it's main page. That's about page. Sorry, let me look at the actual error. Number of developers that just kind of mess with stuff. Type app shell already defines a member called initialize component. What? Why would it have done that? Yeah, I know, Wheatlaw. I'm not surprised. I don't expect you to, though. There are definitely going to be people building this, though. If .NET 5 or greater, and what is the point of that? There's nothing in that if. Did they give me something else I'm supposed to do here? Shell, tab bar, shell. Yep, those. Yeah, thanks, Icy Black Deep. We are reading the docs, but I'm not seeing what we're missing here. So he changed all those things to notes. So we'll leave these alone for now. And we're going to cut this. We're just going to grab the new content. App shell. Oh, see, that's what I did. I broke the wrong one. See? See? I didn't read the manual. I should have read the manual. I didn't read the manual. Yes, release to manufacturing, exactly. I think you meant release to final manufacturing, right? Don't click this. Okay, cool. On the About page, hey! There we go. Cool. Click that button. And it opens up the Maui page, I think. Yay, there it is. Excellent. Let's see. The example at the bottom of the homepage better not be a recommended way to write render code. You change. Oh yes, Paprika. Yep. You're correct. I changed the wrong thing. Yep, you found it. Oh, and yes, Londo. I was a little disappointed that that Maui still used XAML for this. While it is XAML's decent, I think there's some other ways that other directions they could have taken that would set this up better than what we had before. And sorry, I see Black Tea, but I still don't think it's working today. I haven't dug into that, but one of these days I do want to do a stream where we go and take a look at all of our bots and try fixing them again. So we can get all the bots running again, get the stream back the way it was back in the day. In years past when our stream was running nicely. Okay, so let's bail out of there and take a look at whatever's next. So shell, tab bar, yep. The tab bar was actually pretty nice. That worked out pretty well. Oh, that's a good point. You know what we didn't look at? Tab bar probably looks halfway decent. If we are showing it down, yeah. So we could pull out the mobile emulator, but if you look, like I think these little tabs could get better styling. But I like the setup of, you know, like you get little tab things, the layout kind of works. This learn more button, you know, obviously needs to get fixed because that's just bonkers, but I don't know how well that came across on the video, but is a little bit silly. Let's see. Icy Black Deep, you like XAML, though you wish it used WPF XAML instead of Xamarin XAML. Yeah, that's a debate you're going to get into with a bunch of people, and that is one of the problems I mentioned when we first were starting this stream talking about XAML. Is I mentioned that the different flavors of XAML are one of the big problems with XAML. Is that you'll go online, you'll be like, yeah, there's XAML. Wait, that's not my XAML. So like the fact that there are multiple XAMLs that look the same and are not the same is a big problem with XAML. Kind of wish there were like one XAML that everything used. Okay. Close the app. We weren't using the emulator. Create a page for a note. So they want us to make another page. What are they doing on this one? Let's have a look. So we're starting off where they want us to create a content page that has a vertical stack layout. Ooh, an editor. So an editor is probably a little text box. Looks like it's going to have enter note as the placeholder text, save button, and a delete button? Delete, I think, means discard, but I don't know that for certain. So let's find out. Let's add a page. So add new item. XAML page. Let's see what it gives us. Copy. Maui app 1. So we've got text editor, enter your note, save, saved. Okay. So they want us to do that. Yep. So this file name, path combine environment get folder environment local application data. Okay, so this app is going to be storing notes in a text file. That's funny. Why not, I guess, right? So as part of the setup of the notes page, it creates a little txt file as part of that and then writes into it. That's a funny test, but it works, I guess. Then I'm just going to write to it, and this is what you'd end up with. So in this one, I do like the fact that they walked through step by step instead of just doing the whole thing. Let's grab this time. Did they not have the usings up there? Do we not need them? Oh, I guess we don't need them. We must have all those in already. I figured there must have been a using in there somewhere, but I guess not. Maybe they're included in the defaults in this application for everything. Do. So out of curiosity, everybody in the chat, have things been coming through smoothly at this point, or is it still getting choppy at times? I know for a little while, so we started this stream out on YouTube just to see how it would go. By the way, if you are not if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go click that, because I do still want to try and see if we can't get the streams over on YouTube sometimes. So if we are able to get them running in both places, I would like that, so that we could run sometimes in YouTube and sometimes in Twitch. So make sure you're subscribed to youtube.com/c/devchatter, which you'll find down below. That way we can, actually get that working. Ooh. Okay, so it navigates around. Let's, and compiled, that's the big thing. Let's see if we can get that onto the page. So content template for this in the app shell is this one. So that's the note page now, and the about page. All right, let's go ahead and try it. Yeah, so I started up the stream on YouTube today, but we were having network problems. I wasn't sure if it was YouTube or Twitch, but my network seemed to be fine for everything else. But for some reason, running the stream out to those services today had it really choppy, especially in the beginning of the stream. So if it's cleared up, then cool. If not, then I'm not sure. We'll have to figure out why my network's giving us trouble. So it looks like it did come up with our notes. I don't know if this does anything yet. What happens when I do this? So save saves, delete deletes. Cool. So it was supposed to do. When I save, it writes all the text to the file. When I delete, it deletes the file and empties the text. Cool. If file exists, read it all into there. Oh, okay. Cool, let's try it. Yeah. Not that one. This one. Remember this. Save. Okay. Now we stop the app and we start it again. Let's see if it remembers that file. Did it read it? Hey, it remembered it. Yay. Okay, now delete it. So cool. It works. Yep. Great. There's our notes app. Bind data to the UI. Ah, binding data. Yes. Binding data. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's all coming together now, folks. It's all coming together. All right, so it looks like they want us to move the views into a views folder. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I'm not going to do that just yet. Fix the namespace reference in shell. Yeah. Probably because we moved the views into views, maybe is what they're going to talk about. Then what do we got down here? Define the model. Okay, so see, here's when we get into the MVVM part. So they want us defining a model that is the file name, the text, and probably the date the note was written. So this is like our notes that we're writing. And then the about model is the stuff we're binding to the about page. So looks like they're just pulling it out of the UI and putting it in here, which is a little bit silly because you can pull these out, but for some of these little static things, like I guess you can put it somewhere else if you want to have it consistent through your app. So if you want to be able to display the title, the version, etc., anywhere in your application, you don't want that coded into the UI. You want to be able to have that data, coming from one central spot, so you can have one object that gets loaded and has the title, because maybe you're going to display it in like the footer somewhere, and it's also on the about page. And so rather than hard coding it both to the footer and the about page, you can, just reference it from this model object that you've got here. Let's see. So that's kind of the idea. Then what do they do? They're doing a binding context on an about model on the page, and they're binding the title and the version number in here. Hang on. Sorry, I wasn't paying enough attention to chat. Let me catch up for a sec. Looks like use some of the simple push. Please help. You can send me a DM. You got stuck making a website in .NET Core MVC and you can't run your web shop. I mean, you can ask some questions in chat if you want. I'm unlikely to respond in DMs, only because, well, for one thing, I don't usually bother checking the DMs on this account regardless. But yeah, feel free to ask in chat. Someone might be able to assist. But at the end of the day, keep in mind that we are also not Stack Overflow, so but people might be able to help out. So if you do have questions about .NET and .NET Core, yeah, sorry, Wheatlaw, I don't have the Discord link there, but you can find it down below because the bot's not running. Yeah, exactly. It's probably a longer question. But yeah, you can hit people on the... yeah, I know, Wheatlaw, the bot's not running. I know. Hang on. The link to the Discord, which I will quickly post in chat. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Hang on. Copy link. There we go. There's our Discord. By the way, I'm planning on hooking up a Discord link on my website so that we don't have to use that one. And I had mentioned to some other people to make sure that you're actually following that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, because if you're not, you're going to miss when I go live over there, because I will be going live on there sometimes. So, relevant links now posted in chat. And yes, I know, we're planning on fixing the bot sometime soon. I just haven't gotten around to it. Okay. So yeah, looks like they are then teaching some basic MVvm binding. That's weird. They want to make sure the binding context is the model they think it is. I mean, I guess you can. And then assigning it into that. Oh, because binding context is an object, and they're using this to pattern match and assign it into that so you can get the properties. Yep, that's a valid way to do it. Update the note page, binding text. Did they explain that? Out of curiosity, did they explain? Nope. I don't see pattern matching, so... yep. Icy Black Deep, you don't have a YouTube account. Well, sorry. I know, I am torn. Some people were telling me I should stream on YouTube, so I was gonna try it. But I will at least be notifying the Discord, so as long as you're paying attention to the Discord and you get those here notifications when I go live, you'll get those. And it should automatically tweet when I go live too. People keep asking you to talk to them on Twitter. Yeah, so I don't usually respond to the dev chat or DMs. So I occasionally get some, and I look at them like 6 months later, and I'm like, oh, someone sent me a message here. Cool. So then it's going to do this, and it's going to create note files. Design in the notes page, so you can see all of them. And looks like it's, yeah. So I think that's some good stuff. We might take a look at this. So far, I'm kind of torn. I like some of the stuff they're doing. I want to get more into how they're doing the cross-platform UI, which maybe we'll have a look at another time. But I am glad that they're doing some of this stuff. So either way, I want to wrap this one up because I got to get going. It's about time for me to head out for the day, but I am glad I got to stream it, and I'm glad all of you came to join me for it. I am still super thrilled about my new Windows XP style loading screen. I think it's awesome. I built it by hand in After Effects, so I was a little proud of myself because I was like, that sounds like fun. Let's build that. And I was like, yeah, wonder if I can just make it. And so I made one. It was fun. If you do not know, so I posted a link to our YouTube on here, but I have been posting a lot of YouTube videos lately. They've been scheduled, so I've been scheduling them out. So they come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/devchatter, which you'll find a link to in the chat or down below the stream. I am hoping to stream either on Thursday or Friday of this week. I won't be able to stream tomorrow or Wednesday, but again, targeting Thursday or Friday, maybe both. So I want to get a couple of streams in then. We'll see how those go. The good chance I'm going to try to get one of them on YouTube if I can, but we'll see how the internet connection's going, because that's what drove me off of YouTube today. So be sure to watch for those, and I will catch you on those ones. If you're not in our Discord, join it. It's a good place. Lots of people. And as always, have a great day and happy coding, everyone. I'm going to toss us on our outro and wrap up the stream. So until next time, and hopefully we will be working on some of our bots and other stuff, because I should get them running so we've got them engaging in the chat again. And either way. Yeah, Surly. Glad you looked at the YouTube. There's tons of stuff. Yeah, take a look. Toss some likes. My quality is starting to get a little bit better on that. So some of the early ones, not great, but not bad. I hope the content is good. And either way, feel free to check those out. I don't have the exiting screen yet, Surly Dev, but I am planning on getting one of those. It's now safe to, leave the stream or something like that for that, Surly. So do expect some kind of outro that's XP based fun at some point. But no, that one doesn't exist. So take care, everyone. Happy coding, and I will see you next time.